Yo guys, Red Marvel here, back again with another movie review. Apologies, it has been a long one since my last review, which was the Marrow movie, but I'm back uploading on this channel. But before we get into what I think is one of the best animated movies of all time, not necessarily one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. If you are new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Marvel and follow us on Twitch at Red Marvel 10 as well. So let me get in. First and foremost, I'm going to make this is a non-spoiler review. This is a non-spoiler review for the recently released Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review. I will be doing a spoiler basically, which will be a lot bigger because my goodness, there's so many Easter eggs, there's so many things in this movie that I just want to talk about. And obviously it's just been released, so I'm gonna probably post that out a few days from now. So this is just going to be my sort of just brief non-spoiler review. So if you want, obviously not, if you want to if you just want a spoiler one, wait till that'll be coming soon. But this is going to be focusing just on a general summary of the movie and what my thoughts on the movie. And bearing in mind, I'll be talking about some of the things that were in the trailer. So I'll be talking about some stuff that was in the trailer, but not obviously a spoiler. So this is a non-spoiler review, just so everyone knows. Okay, let's get into it. First and foremost, what I think about this movie. I think this was an amazing movie. I think that this is, I think I'd say it's on the same level as the first movie. You can make an argument that it was slightly better than the first movie, just based on it building up from the first movie and what happened, as well as the amount of different Spider-Men that you see, and the characterization of these different Spider-Men and the artwork. So I think if you just want to talk about my initial thoughts on where I think this ranks, I think that this is definitely on par with the first movie. Some people might think it's slightly worse because of the runtime. Maybe it was a bit too long, but to be honest, I appreciated it because it basically, the opening movie gives you, it doesn't sort of automatically go straight into Miles. It sort of focuses on another character, and sort of fleshes out their story a little bit, which I think was personally quite beneficial for the character and for the movie as a whole. And it lays the foundation for stuff that you see later on in the movie as well. FYI, Disney, if you're watching, this is how you create a multiverse, by the way. This is how you create a multiverse, Spider-Verse, whatever. Take notes. This is, if there's some of this movie is that this is how Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness should have been. This is what I expected that movie to be, and this is what this movie is. Just FYI. So, but yeah, just focusing on obviously some of the key Miles. Obviously, obviously as you know, the trailers, he's grown up, he's mature, and he's trying to work. Basically, the dynamic between him and his parents is really touching to see, how raising a child, how they work through being a teenager and so on. And obviously Miles obviously having to deal with the fact that he's obviously Spider-Man. I think that that dynamic, I think, is really, really nice, and that is continued throughout the movie. So that, I think, at the core of this movie is Miles Morales, and the relationship he has with his family, and what he's willing to risk as Spider-Man for his family. I think that that's quite important, and compared to, say, I think a lot of MCU movies that are lacking that depth element to them, this movie shows this in spades. So there's that. But I've got to say this right now. If we're talking about my favorite character in this movie, it has to be Miguel. It has to be Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. Spider-Man 2099 is a horse in this movie. He is so good. He's essentially, he's obviously not a villain, and you see in the trailers he confronts Miles, but he's a dick. He's a jerk, and I like that about him. Like, he's probably the most serious of these Spider-Men that are there. All the Spider-Man, the Peters that make jokes, etc. But Miguel, literally, he knows what he has to do, and you see, and it's as it's revealed in the story, like the tension between, the theme or the subject of sacrifice, and what all the Spider-Man women have been willing to sacrifice, and what do you sacrifice for the greater good, essentially, so but Miguel O'Hara is a fantastic 2099. Is arguably one of my most favorite characters in the movie. I wanted to also talk about the animation. The animation, I didn't think the animation would even get better than the first one, but it does, because somehow they are able to. I mean, you can see it, in the poster I have just next to me. Like, this could easily be awesome wall art. The art in this movie is fantastic. It's so good. This for me is the best comic book movie. And what I mean by that is that if we're talking about actually a comic book that you read, the artwork you read on the movie screen, this is what this is. I'm not talking about a comic book adaptation, which is what the MCU is. They're comic book adaptations. This for me feels like much like the first movie, where I'm actually watching a comic book come to life. And this is what I love so much about this art style in this movie. But not only that, the different art styles. One character in particular that comes up, who is who you know a bit more about. His art style from his universe, which universe is very like against things, let's put it that way. I just love the way that his patchwork art style works, and how he's a support character for Miles as well, so I just love that. You obviously see Spider-Woman in the trailer, this Jessica Drew adaptation, who's pregnant in the movie. She plays one well. I think she plays a kind of the, I guess, the strong kind of woman archetype in this movie. But also, like, they've obviously a very, very serious kind of archetype as well. I mean, what I would say as well is, I mean, the spot. The spot. I mean, the design, again, great, but it's so weird how recently, Sony or whatever, they've been able to take these kind of D-list villains and make them very interesting, dangerous, and I don't know how they've been able to do it, but they've done it. And so the Spot, who I never took the Spot seriously in comics. Like, it's an interesting concept, but how they were able to link his involvement to Miles and tie things in with the first movie and what he was obviously going to do, etc. Obviously, no spoilers and like that, you'll find in the movie. I think was great, So, and he was a very interesting villain, and I like how they were able to flesh him out in this, and he's obviously very key in this movie as well. Anything else big? I mean, I really, really want to tell you guys so much of it, but I can't, because they're just spoilers. They're just spoilers. There's just tons of it. But yeah, I mean, as the movie progresses, I think that it does pick up after the first kind of half hour, and I think when all the kind of you see all the different spiders sort of coming together, I think the momentum sort of goes up and up and up, and it actually gets to some really dark places. There are a lot of, and I mean dark. I don't like using dark. I mean depth. I don't mean like us, as you get this typical kind of, oh yes, we're all gonna save the day type of sort of thing. I mean, especially when it comes to one particular Spider-Man's universe, where he was a very funny character. I actually love this character, and I think it creates a lot of diversity in the Spider-Man mythos. But what happens at the end of it, it's like, oh wow, okay, this is real, and you don't know what side you're on at the end of the day. And I can see Miguel's point of view, and I can see Miles' point of view as well. So, but at the end of the day, nothing braces you for the cliffhanger at the end. The cliffhanger at the end, jeez, man. I mean, I wasn't paying attention because I was so distracted by the references, but like, I didn't see that coming at all. I didn't, and I had to remind myself that this is actually part one. That part two, thank God, is coming out in March next year. So we don't have a lot long to wait. We have less than a year to wait for part two. So thank goodness part two is coming out less than a year. Unlike these other movie franchises that make you wait like a year or year plus for the second part, thankfully, this is only going to be released less than a year away, so it'll be in March. But man, stay tuned for spoiler review, because there is so much I've got to speak about this movie. But guys, check it out. It is a must. It's arguably, I would say, it's because the first one's so good. This is top 5. This is top 5 Spider-Man movies of in the top of all time. I already have the first one in my top 5, and then I have to include Spider-Man 2, and I will probably include Spider-Man No Way Home. For me, those are the top 5 in terms of movie releases of all time, in my personal opinion. But let me know what you think, guys, in the comments. Are you going to check it out? What are your thoughts? Obviously, no spoilers below in the comments. I will be posting a spoiler review later. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Red Marvel. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Peace.